The first time the CEO called me an errand boy, he did it on a stage with confetti cannons and a profit chart the size of a movie screen. It was the record year rally at Kestrel Harbor Group, a downtown hotel ballroom packed with executives, board members, and people who laughed like their bonuses depended on it. Behind the podium, the numbers looped in giant font. Record revenue, record margin, record earnings. Wade Sterling stepped up like he owned oxygen. Silver hair, polished suit, smile built for cameras. He raised his hands, and the room clapped on command. Then he pointed toward the back. "Evan Cole," he said, "our silent investor, also our unofficial errand boy. Evan, wave so everyone knows who to blame when my espresso is wrong." Laughter rolled through the crowd. I lifted 2 fingers in a small wave and kept my face neutral. Harmless faces get underestimated. I was 33, and I owned enough of Kestrel Harbor to be invited to board dinners, but not enough, in Wade mind, to be treated like a person. My stake sat inside 2 trusts and a holding company with a boring name. That was the point. I did not buy influence with noise. I bought it with paperwork. Wade turned back to the room. "We crushed the year. Now we get disciplined. We cut costs even harder. Travel freezes, hiring freezes, no more training budget, no more contractor padding. We stay lean." Applause again. People clapped for austerity like it was a prize. After the speeches, Wade floated from cluster to cluster collecting compliments. I stayed near the wall with a club soda, listening. A finance manager whispered, "They cut our close team by 6, but Wade just added a new executive assistant." An engineer muttered, "We are delaying security patches because the budget is frozen." Wade assistant found me. "He needs you. Service hallway." In the hallway, Wade was already impatient. "Evan, I need the updated board packets from my office. The board wants to review the cost-cut plan tonight. Bring them to the lounge upstairs. Fast." He leaned in. "Do not wander. You are not here to look important." "Yes," I said. Polite, small, easy. My badge opened the executive elevator. Not because Wade granted it, but because the investor agreement did. Wade never read agreements. His office door was unlocked. On his desk sat a thick folder labeled Board Review, Cost Discipline. Under it, a second folder peeked out, half hidden, labeled Private. I should have ignored it. Instead, I sat in his chair and opened it. Inside were invoices for private flights, billed the same week customer support got gutted. There were consulting payments to Lantern Vale Partners, tagged as restructuring guidance. There was a penthouse rental receipt dated during a week Wade claimed he was visiting a warehouse to understand the front line. The pattern was loud. Cut teams, cut tools, cut safety, then spend freely where no one could see. I snapped photos of the pages, careful to capture dates and amounts. Then I did what Wade expected. I picked up the board packets and delivered them upstairs. In the lounge, the board sat under soft lights, holding drinks that looked like liquid confidence. Wade stood at the center, smiling wide. He saw me and snapped his fingers. "There he is, my errand boy." I handed the folder to the board chair, Marcia Lyle. Her eyes were sharp, the kind that notice quiet details. She flipped to a slide titled Cost Discipline Roadmap. "You are cutting customer support again," she said. Wade smiled. "Efficiency. The market loves discipline." Marcia did not smile back. "The market loves honesty, too." I stayed silent. Silent was what Wade wanted. But my phone in my pocket held proof that Wade discipline was just a costume, and costumes come off. By Monday morning, Kestrel Harbor headquarters already felt like a place that had learned to smile through damage. The lobby screens replayed Wade Sterling earnings interview on a loop. Record year flashed under his face while the help desk line in the corner quietly got longer. Upstairs, Wade treated celebration like a warm-up lap. He did not greet me. He pointed. "Errand boy, 20 board packets, color, tabs, then breakfast. No pastries. They get sluggish." "Yes," I said. Printers whined. Paper jams happened. I fixed them because I knew where the bodies were buried, and the bodies were always in the wiring. While the packets stacked up, I compared my phone photos to internal notices. Training freezes landed the same week Lantern Vale Partners billed for a leadership acceleration sprint. Support layoffs landed the same day a private flight invoice hit accounts payable. It was not dramatic. It was consistent. The board arrived mid-morning. Marcia Lyle, the chair, walked in like a judge. Victor Raines followed, all charm and expensive cologne. Priya Kane, audit chair, came last, quiet and sharp. Wade welcomed them with a smile that looked stapled on. We crushed the year. Now we prove discipline. We stay lean. He saw me carrying the breakfast tray and snapped his fingers. Set it down, errand boy. Some people chuckled. Priya did not. Wade clicked through his slides. Revenue rising, costs falling, confidence everywhere. Then the cuts. We reduce customer support headcount, he said. We pause non-essential security upgrades. We outsource facilities. We optimize. Priya lifted her eyes from the page. You want to pause security upgrades after a record year? Wade shrugged. The savings are real. The risk is theoretical. Marcia tapped the packet. And the expanded consulting line. Lantern Vale Partners again. Alignment, Wade said. We cannot afford drift. I watched Priya pen stop. Her jaw tightened once, then smoothed out. Halfway through, Wade phone buzzed. He frowned and pointed at me without looking. Evan, handle it. It was his dry cleaning service. Pickup authorization. I could have handed the phone back and said I am not staff. Instead, I stepped into the hall and handled it, because Wade arrogance was useful. He gave me access. He gave me time. In the hallway, I nearly collided with Owen Park, the CFO. He looked hollow, like he had been sleeping in spreadsheets. He lowered his voice. You should not be doing this. I know, I said. Owen swallowed. He is cutting controls, not costs. If audit pulls the thread, everything unravels. Before I could ask what thread, Wade's voice barked through the door. Where is my coffee? It tastes bitter. I went back in, set down the tray, and watched him scold me like I had personally invented bitterness. The meeting ended with Wade standing, satisfied. Great. Evan, take the signed packets to legal, then drop my briefcase at my car. I have a flight. A flight. Right after he told the board travel was frozen. As I carried the packets out, Priya Kane followed with her eyes. She did not speak. She did not smile. But she watched me like she was measuring a weight. Wade reached into his pocket and handed me a white envelope. One more errand. Give this to Jenna in support. Tell her the role is eliminated. Effective today. HR will escort her. My fingers tightened around the paper. Jenna was the one who stayed late fixing customer escalations so sales could keep promising miracles. Wade smiled like he had just assigned me a harmless chore. I nodded once and walked toward the support floor with the envelope burning in my hand. At the elevator, Wade called after me, loud enough for the assistants to hear. Move faster, errand boy. Investors are supposed to have hustle. I pressed the button and waited, calm. Wade was getting sloppy. The board was getting tense. And someone on that board was finally about to crack. Jenna Ortiz did not cry when I handed her the envelope. We were in customer support, the floor Wade Sterling avoided because it was loud and human. Phones rang. Ticket queues blinked red. Jenna had a headset around her neck and a granola bar half unwrapped on her desk. She opened the envelope, read one paragraph, and her face went still. Record year, she said, more statement than question. Yes, I said, and he has a flight. Jenna stood, set the paper down like it might stain her hands, and walked toward HR with a straight back. That was the sound of a person breaking, not a scream, just quiet. I rode the elevator up with my jaw clenched so tight it hurt. Priya Kane was waiting in the executive corridor, pretending to review a folder until I stepped out. Audit chair, calm posture, eyes sharp enough to make a liar flinch. How long are you going to let him call you that? She said. Call me what? Errand boy. Her voice stayed low. It is not funny. It is a tell. A tell of what? That he thinks you have no power. Priya nodded toward a small conference room. 2 minutes. Inside, she shut the door and went straight to the point. He is lying to the board, not about earnings, about how he is padding them and what he is hiding behind these cuts. I let silence sit between us. Priya slid the folder across the table. Lantern Vale Partners. You saw invoices. I saw payments, I said. You did not see the approvals. She tapped a page. He routed them through a budget bucket that dodges full review. He labeled them compliance modernization. He He is also moving expenses into capital projects to inflate margins. I exhaled slowly. Aggressive accounting. Cute phrase. Priya leaned in. He is also pushing a vendor deal to sell our support platform to a buyer, then contract it back at a higher rate. He calls it slimming. It is self-dealing. Do you have proof? I asked. Not enough, she said. Not enough to survive lawyers. We need documents. We need a chain. I looked at her. Why tell me? Priya did not blink. Because you are in places we are not, and because I know who you are. The room chilled. She continued, flat and precise. Your stake is buried under trusts and a holding company, but the pattern is visible if you care to look. You are not staff. You are a shareholder with rights. Wade is treating you like a messenger because he thinks you will stay quiet. There it was. The crack. Someone on the board had finally said the truth out loud. What do you want? I asked. I want you to call a special session, Priya said. Put him in front of the full board. Put him on record. Jenna quiet walk to HR replayed in my head. Wade cruelty had turned numbers into a knife. All right, I said. No theatrics, just facts. For the next 2 days, I played the role Wade wrote for me. I printed packets. I fetched coffee. I asked harmless questions that made assistants relax. Every errand bought me another minute inside another system. I pulled vendor contracts from legal under the excuse of organizing archives. I copied approval chains from finance under the excuse of helping with board prep. I photographed calendar entries that showed Wade meeting Lantern Vale partners on days he claimed he was touring sites. On Wednesday night, Wade called me into his office. Errand boy, deliver this thumb drive to Lantern Vale tomorrow. It has projections. Do not lose it. He handed it over like it was nothing. I nodded, walked out, and in the hallway I copied the contents to my laptop, then restored encryption as it was. The files told the story, cuts timed to bonus triggers, vendor kickbacks disguised as consulting, and a plan to squeeze support until it snapped. At midnight I sent Priya one message. Special session Friday 9 a.m. I have the chain. Friday at 9 a.m., Wade Sterling walked into the boardroom like the building owed him applause. He looked around, saw the full board, and smirked. Big audience. What is this? A fan club? Marcia Lyle, the chair, did not return the smile. Priya Kane sat beside her with a thick stack of papers. Victor Raines and 2 independent directors filled out the table. Wade pointed at me near the wall. Why is the errand boy here? Marcia replied, calm. Because this is a special session requested by a major shareholder. Wade laughed. Major, sure. Evan, sit in the corner. Try not to make eye contact. I sat. I let him believe the script. Marcia tapped the table. This session is about executive spending, vendor conflicts, and the impact of recent cost reductions. Wade waved a hand. We had a record year. Costs are down. The market is happy. Priya slid a page toward Marcia. We have documentation. Wade leaned back. Show me. Priya nodded at me. I stood and placed a black folder on the table. Before we start, this meeting is being recorded for counsel. Wade scoffed. Adorable. I opened the folder and slid out a timeline. March 3rd, training freeze announced. Same day, Lantern Vale Partners billed $84,000 for a leadership sprint. Approved by Wade Sterling. Wade shrugged. Consulting. Approved by me. That is leadership. April 12th, I continued. Customer support layoffs. Same day, a private charter invoice hit accounts payable, coded as site visit. Destination, Palm Harbor. Victor frowned. That is a resort. Wade snapped. It was networking. Priya placed another page down. May 2nd. Facilities outsourcing contract issued to Crestline Services, coded under compliance modernization to bypass procurement. Crestline is owned by Wade family. One of the independent directors leaned forward. Where are the bids? There were none, Priya said. The process was bypassed. Wade chair scraped as he shifted. This is nitpicking. Everyone does it. I slid a thumb drive onto the table. And this is not nitpicking. These are the projections Wade sent to Lantern Vale this week. They lay out a plan to cut support until it fails, sell the support platform to a buyer, then contract it back at a higher rate. The routing details tie the buyer escrow to Lantern Vale. Priya added, "That is self-dealing." Wade stood. "You stole files." Marcia looked at him. "Did you authorize that plan?" Wade's jaw worked. "It was a concept, a scenario." "A scenario that fires hundreds," Priya said. Wade turned to me, pointing. "You are a nobody with a printer." I met his eyes. "I understand signatures and I understand voting rights." The room went still. "I requested this session under the investor agreement," I said, "and I will be clear for the record. Between Harborline Trust and the founder note conversion last quarter, my position is 41%. Enough to block transactions, enough to call sessions, enough to demand a vote." Wade's face drained of color. Marcia folded her hands. "Then we vote," Priya spoke, steady. "Motion to remove Wade Sterling as Chief Executive Officer, effective immediately, for breach of duty and misuse of company funds." A director seconded without hesitation. Marcia looked around. "All in favor?" Hands rose, one by one. Even Victor, after a long pause. Marcia turned to Wade. "The motion carries. Wade, you are removed effective now. Security will escort you from the building." Marcia pressed the intercom button on the table. "Security, please come to the boardroom." Through the glass wall, I saw 2 guards straighten near the elevators. Wade followed my gaze and swallowed. He had always assumed security was for other people. Now it was for him. Wade opened his mouth, then closed it. For the first time, he had no audience trick, no slogan, no charm. Just the quiet sound of his power ending. Wade Sterling tried to turn the vote into a speech. "Marcia, this is a mistake," he said. "You are letting a quiet investor ambush you. I built this company." Marcia stood. "Wade, you are done. Gather your personal items." Priya did not raise her voice. "You loved public lessons. Today you get one." Security arrived with a plain box, the kind HR keeps stacked like cardboard coffins. Wade laughed, sharp and brittle. "This is humiliating." "So was calling people errand boy," Priya replied. Wade marched to his office with the box clutched under his arm. The guards followed close. Marcia, Priya, and I followed behind them. Assistants froze as we passed. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Word spread faster than email. Wade's office door was unlocked. Of course it was. He swept items off his desk in angry handfuls. A framed photo, a metal nameplate, a designer pen. He kept muttering about lawsuits like the word itself might rewind time. One guard cleared his throat. "Sir, we need to go." Wade turned on me. "You set me up." "I let you be you," I said. That was enough. He did not like the calm. He wanted a fight. Calm makes people like Wade feel small. We walked him out past the glass conference rooms and down the main corridor toward the atrium. Employees stepped out of cubicles and break rooms like the building had pulled a fire alarm. Phones lifted, eyes widened. Jenna Ortiz stood near the help desk with her coat still on, watching without blinking. At the atrium, Marcia stopped and faced the crowd. "Wade Sterling has been removed as Chief Executive Officer, effective immediately, for breach of duty and misuse of funds. Return to your work. You will receive official communication today." A hush, then a ripple of claps. Not polite claps, relief claps. Wade tried to speak, but the guard guided him toward the lobby doors. Marcia and Priya walked beside him, one on each side, not touching, just present. The board was not hiding. They were making it clear. At the doors, Wade paused and looked back at the room full of employees he had treated like cost centers. He searched for loyalty and found cameras. He pushed through the revolving door and vanished into the cold morning. The building exhaled. 10 minutes later, we held an all hands. No confetti, no slogans, just a microphone and the truth. "My name is Evan Cole," I said. "Some of you know me as the quiet guy who fetched coffee. That role was a costume. I am a shareholder, and I requested the session that removed Wade." A nervous laugh moved through the crowd. "What matters now is stability," I continued. "The board will appoint an interim chief executive today. Cost changes will be tied to long-term health, not short-term bonuses." Priya stepped up. "Security upgrades resume immediately. Training returns next quarter. Vendor relationships will be audited for conflicts. Anyone impacted by recent layoffs will be contacted about reinstatement options or enhanced severance. Jenna's hand went to her mouth. A few people started clapping again, softer this time, like they were afraid hope might break. After the meeting, people went back to their desks with straighter shoulders. The air felt different, not magical, just cleaner. In the elevator, Priya looked at me. "You could have ended him earlier." "I wanted the board to see the pattern," I said, "and I wanted him to walk out where everyone could see the consequences." Priya gave a thin smile. "He did." My phone buzzed with a message from Wade. One line, "You ruined me." I typed back 2 words, "You did." Then I put the phone away and walked past the cafe without buying coffee for anyone, for the first time since Wade met me. No more errands, no more costumes, just control.